Hey, what's up guys? This one goes out to all my fellow mega Metallica fans. In my last video where I ranked my top 10 guitarists of all time, I briefly talked about this super cool Metallica tour program that I have from the Black album here. And I just thought it was worth another look just to take you through. Let's go through page by page and check it out, talk about it. Again, for all the mega Metallica fans. This, I unfortunately didn't attend this tour. I'll get into what age I was and all that when it came out, but this was given to me by a great friend, John Hall, who is also the co-developer of my ESP Signature Series LTD RA600. Huge guitar fan. His uncle is Doug Hall, the sound guy for Iron Maiden, so he's been in the scene for a long time and just has so many cool stories, so many awesome Maiden stories, and collected a lot of cool memorabilia over the days. He's a little bit older. I think he's around, I don't know, a few years older than me, but he gave me this one and a Justice book as well too, and I haven't broke out that Justice book in a super long time, but maybe we'll go through that one too if you guys like this video. But let's check it out. Here it is, front and back. So this is like a tour program. You don't like see these much anymore, or maybe I just don't see them, I don't know. But you know, sometimes sporting events and stuff like that will have them, or big concerts used to have them, and it's a super cool thing. I mean, this thing's put together really, really well. So here you go. When we open it up, it's got all the tour dates from the Wherever I May Roam tour, 1991, 1992, starting in August of 91 and heading all the way to March of 92. It looks like it started out, a couple shows in California on at the beginning of August, and then headed to Europe. And then in October, headed back to the States, or North America, I should say. And it looks like they finished up in North America. So just a couple months in Europe. And if I'm not mistaken, the album came out August 12th, 1991. So looks like they had the day off. Where is that? Oh yeah, Tuesday the 13th. So they played in Poland the day after it came out. Pretty cool at, I don't know how to say that, Katowice. Chime in with a comment if you were at that show at Slask Stadium the day after the Black album came out. What a monumental day. Obviously, biggest selling metal album of all time, but we'll get into some cool stuff about that in a second. But pretty cool here. I received the Black album on my birthday, January 3rd of 92. So a couple months after it came out, I had the full, you know, big black box CD. Remember those? When CDs came in those black boxes. So let's see where they were on that date. January. So they didn't play on my birthday. Vegas was the next day at the Thomas and Mack Center in January of 92. And they were in Tokyo, Japan at the Tokyo Dome a couple days earlier. So cool to look at this stuff and see where they were at. And obviously a lot of this tour has been documented in their DVDs, but let's get into the photos here. Just some cool band shots. All these were shot by the famous Ross Halfin. My band, you know, we actually did some shots with Ross at the Download Festival in 2003, but at the time I had no idea who he was. I didn't know we were being photographed by the famous Metallica photographer. And recently I watched something on YouTube where Ross talks about his whole time with Metallica, and especially like the Black album, the effect that had. If I can find that again, I'll link it for you below, but no promises. But it was really cool to hear his perspective. He's been Metallica's photographer forever, and you know, the photographer for so many enormous bands over the years, but obviously these photos are fantastic. So more little live stuff. There's Kirk with the Pro-Am there, the Tom Anderson. I did a video talking about how if I could have any guitar, it'd be this one right here from my idol, Kirk Hammett. James with the Telly. And then we get into some of these journalists, like reviews of the album, little reviews, and they're all negative. And that's what I thought was so special about this thing, this tour program, is that Metallica themselves chose to include a bunch of great negative reviews about the Black album, which ended up becoming the biggest selling metal album of all time. And obviously they're the biggest metal band ever, so it just goes to show that they can stick it to those journalists who gave a little, you know, maybe a premature you know, review of the record, which I'm sure they like it now. Wait till you see Nikki Sixx's review. That's coming up in a minute. It's harsh. But I'll read some of these here. So When Hetfield sings, "I hunt, therefore I am," the truth finally becomes clear. In the end, James Hetfield is a 90s style Ted Nugent, a little more angst-ridden maybe, but deep down the same kind of red-blooded American bonehead who doesn't know he's alive until if he isn't allowed to kill. Okay, whatever that means. Enter Sandman begins well with a spare, genuinely mean judder and bass riff. Then Hetfield unleashes his doomy, mock, menacing holler, a guitar solo of drab virtuosity. Destroys the momentum, and a child's prayer sends the needle soaring back up the crassometer, ruined. I'm not familiar with what a crassometer is. I don't think I've ever said that word. But I hate when journalists talk like this. You know, it's like just too verbose, I don't know. Tell us what you really think, bro. More cool shots. Look at James in the cowboy hat there. He's so cool. Jason, what a monster he was during that time, man. The energy, unbelievable. I love seeing him backstage. I think there's more of those in here too. This is the first time I'm going through this in a really, really long time too. I just browsed through it just the other day to show off an example in that top 10 video, but I really wanted to just kind of spend some time with it and go through and look back at it again. I probably haven't in 20 years. As it turns out, speed masked some of Metallica's weaknesses. Kirk Hammett is a fast but not particularly original lead guitarist with a limited vocabulary of scales and well-worn blues licks that are better in shorter stretches. All right. I love the fun that Lars had behind the kit, you know? The interaction with the other guys, the crowd. I'm a Lars fan. For years I said Paul Bostaph, Slayer, was my favorite drummer, but Lars really is. I mean, his beats, I think, are just absolutely creative. Everything we're hearing today, all these death metal virtuosos that can play 300 BPM or just, you know, whatever, they still can't go to think of a part like that. Obviously they can play it, but I mean to think of a part like that. Justice for all. So that's what I mean. No disrespect, obviously, but I think he's just a creative guy that every drummer is influenced. Come on. And his business sense, and obviously the Metallica are the kings of everything when it comes to marketing. They tell me that Enter Sandman, the lead-off track on this LP, is a popular number with exotic dancers in this area, which is a good indication, as good as indication as any, that this LP has effectively broken the band into the hard rock mainstream market. All right. Sorry, I'm slipping up a bit too. The light's reflecting off this thing, and I keep having to move it in different places here. What is a matter of integrity? What is a matter of integrity is the song "Don't Tread on Me," declaring America to be an emblem of vigilance and directing the listener to love it or leave it. Metallica has hereby produced a towering road of Republican shit. It's hard to believe that the guys who did one, probably the most explicit anti-war video ever shown on MTV, can now be endorsing the recent massacre in Iraq. But they are. I say fuck them. Somebody from Playboy magazine. I have no idea what they're talking about there. From the unimaginative black-on-black cover, didn't ACD and Spinal Tap already do this, they say? Symbolic of the contents to the uninspired performances, the album is just plain disappointing. Really? I mean, people were that disappointed with this thing when it came out? Yeah, I was a 11-year-old kid, just turned 12 when I got it, and it ruled to me. I mean, yeah, I was huge into Kill, Ride the Lightning, Puppets, and Justice up to that point, but I still loved this. I was like, whoa, this is incredible when I heard it. Then I turned into one of these guys when the loads happened. More cool shots. The outdoor scenes. Let's take it to the Alamo, bro. It might be as hard for a dedicated Metallica buff to come to terms with the band's new sound as it was for hardcore folk heads when Dylan shifted to noisy electric guitars. Bob Dylan going electric is one thing. This is Metallica going pop. There are more prom ballads on this album than on the previous 4 combined. More bong-hit 70s stadium-style guitar solos. Bong-hit 70s-style guitar solos and prom ballads? I bet these guys regret some of this stuff. Okay, here's Nikki Sixx. Check this out. To me, Metallica is a shitty band. I mean, I fucking hate Metallica. I think their music is crap. It's just garbage, and they won't be here in a few years. And I don't care if I get hassled for that. There's nothing in that music, lyrically, musically, rhythmically. I mean, what's their fucking purpose? To me, that's crap, and I don't mind if I get shit for that. Well, Nikki, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that today. If you still feel the same or not, I don't know. There he is. That's cool. Remember when Kirk does that in the one video? I forget which one. Sabatru, maybe? Let me know if you remember. James looking svelte. Classic shot there. That's right. Remember when Beavis and Butthead would mimic Lars, you know? You know, from behind the kit looking out. That was awesome. Bleeding for Moscow, September 28th, 1991. So let's go back and check that out. What did it say? September 28th, 1991. Yeah, Moscow, Russia. Tushino Airfield. I wonder if that's that big show or not. I don't know. You know, the one everybody talks about. It's in black and white. I'm not sure. So anyways, yeah, that head does look pretty bloody there. Poor guy. That's how Metallica used to get around, you know? In 91. Cool stuff. Okay, and here's the center spread. Folds out. We'll get a look at that in a sec. We're moving into a lot of live shots here. Lars sitting on the stairs. I always thought it'd be cool to have stairs on stage, although I feel like I'd fall on them all the time if I did, you know? Especially having some beers like he is. So when we open this up, bunch of live shots. I hope this is all in frame here. Sorry if it's not. We'll start over here. My main man. I wonder if that's the one guitar or not. I can't remember. You know what I'm saying, from the one video. No, I don't think so, actually, because in the one video it was an ESP, where that appears to be an actual Stratocaster. Lars, here, have this. And then the Snake Pit. I don't know about you guys, but I'm personally more of a fan of like seeing them head on, like a stage, you know, whether it's like a festival or how they play back in the day, rather than like, they call it the Round now, I think. I just saw them on the 72 tour, and it's, you know, much bigger than this. Which, I don't know, just felt like a little less personal to me, you know? I don't know, it's still cool and obviously very impressive. But, and then the Snake Pit is even smaller, or the Snake Pit stage, let's call it, is even smaller, but it's still got that thing. But there's like people behind, so all these people right here are just looking at their backs the whole time. It appears the microphones are facing one way, they're looking from Lars at the back, so I don't know. I just think that's a weird setup. Granted, I wasn't at these shows, so I don't know how rad it was. I'm sure it was rad. I'm sure they thought all that through. Who am I to say shit about it, right? That's a killer shot right there. See, that's what I want to see from the front. You know, stairs on the side like that, Lars up there. I think that'd be cool. So yeah, I would have loved to have attended this tour, but fortunately it's been so well documented. You know, you kind of feel like you're there with the Live Shit Binge and Purge box set. You get the little Snake Pit pass, that laminate and stuff. Oh, that was cool. Everybody that, you know, got that, you remember. I didn't get the actual box. I got it a few years later when it came in like the 2 DVD thing, so it was like a smaller box like this, but still had, you know, the cool memorabilia in there and stuff, but this is awesome. All right. Moving on. My idol, right there, this photo right here. I tried to look like that in every photo, you know? You emulate your idols, right? And I play guitars that look like that because of this guy right here. Back on the plane. Imagine having your own jet, you know, after the show, having your meals on the plane afterwards. Dude, that'd be incredible. And it's so funny in one of those Metallica documentaries how Lars is out there, he's looking at Guns N' Roses playing, and they're like, oh man, he's like, they got the, whatever, the G4, we've only got the G3. Hilarious. What was he eating there? Guess who thought he looked too hungover? Oh, so James right here, his face is actually like Sharpied out or something. And that's part of the actual photo, like, or, you know, I didn't do that. And neither did John Hall. Newstead. What happened with him, you know? What a shame. Obviously, Trujillo is a super cool guy and everything, but it's just a shame. That didn't work out. But as we all know, I think they gave him a hard time, and that's got to be tough. But again, who am I to say? I love Metallica's music too, but I hate Lars and the super pretentious James Hetfield. He gives the impression he's just a normal, couldn't care less idiot, but he is a very serious person. Never mind his overuse of the word fuck. Take a leaf out of Mustaine's book and grow up. Wow. There's fighting words. Kirk with the V. A lot of great shots in this. Metallica have voluntarily given up their throne. It's time to crown the new kings of metal, Megadeth. Wow. So, 92, I think that's when Countdown to Extinction came out. So, whoever these two journalists are, Tank and Billy Trope, they're obviously hyped on Megadeth. I wonder what Dave thought about that too. You know, as Lars is kicking it here, boots up, saying, yeah, you may say that now, but let's let the sales decide. Here's a long one. Metallica is bending to their record company's demands to not issue the album with the proposed black logo-free cover is one thing, but boring music, listlessly played is quite another. I don't understand what that means. With torturously repetitive songs built around single riff structures lasting less than 7 minutes, it's clear Metallica have oversimplified their musical conception to suit a mass audience, just to ensure a radio-friendly product. Producer Bob Rock, responsible for getting acceptable musical product from Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, and David Lee Roth, was called in for the project. You can bet it was Rock who masterminded the dated use of electric sitar embellishment and saccharine, never heard that word, synthetic string washes which coat the already tepid ballad Nothing Else Matters in a milky glop. Like, who are these guys writing to? Who's reading this stuff? Is this like in, I don't know, Forbes magazine or GQ or something like that? I mean, metalheads are going to read that like I did. Like, what the fuck is that trying to say? Except you're talking shit about Metallica. Maybe I'm getting a little too upset here. Sorry, man. Sorry. Metallica, a disappointment. It's the quartet's first album that qualifies as background music. Tell that to sad but true, you know? God made man, Smith and Wesson made them equal. First time seeing Lars naked. Hopefully it's the last. Old 5.0 back there. There's another James with the telly. I sat through the whole of your new album, and all I can say is that it must be the worst album Bob Rock has ever put his name to. Still, you can't blame Bob. I guess you can't teach a crap band good tricks. P.S. Freddie Mercury would throw up if he heard your version of Stone Cold Crazy. I love that. Dude, the solo in Stone Cold Crazy sounds so amazing. I think that song's killer. I love seeing him too at Wembley or wherever that was, where James came out and sung it with those guys for, I don't know, some big like, peace festival or AIDS festival or something. I can't remember what that was, but I thought that was awesome. Seeing him backstage, jamming with those guys, and then coming out and doing it. There's also very little femininity in what Metallica do. Their gigs are like big wank sessions. All these geezers, virgin little boys, praying to this big Willie. Well, I see why they put these in here. These are ridiculous quotes from journalists. More awesome shots. You're gonna hate each other in a few years, but still, an unbreakable bond that's done so much for so many. Cool shot there. Man, Ross knows how to capture them, huh? Badass shot there. I love that. Behind the band, looking out, just at a sea of people. All right, last page here. Cool studio stuff. Fuck Iraq, man. Big road crew. Look at all those guys. Probably about a dozen truck drivers, carpenters, all that. What's this say? We've got a new album out It's what we're here to sell ya. We gave a lot of interviews, but oh, it's like a rhyme. Hold on. Let me try to read this in rhyming fashion. Hold on. We've got a new album out. It's what we're here to sell ya. We gave a lot of interviews, but what we didn't tell ya was that not giving it a name was to make you think we're real cool, and that controversial producers are a useful, distractive tool. We'll tempt you to call the cover boring, cliche, and Spinal Tap. If it'll stop you asking us why all the riffs are crap. We put our best tune, Enter Sandman, out early as a single. Well, that's the oldest trick in the book. It's a rock and roll swindle. We used to work our asses off for you Metallifuckers, but now we just play any old rubbish and sling it at you suckers. So don't ask why all the numbers are awkward, slow, and plotty. Don't ask why James sounds about as menacing as Naughty. You've heard all 63 minutes. You probably think it's shite. That's because it took almost 90 minutes to write. So here we sit while the cash rolls in. Yes, it's sad but true, for we know all you Metallamugs will buy anything we do. So now you've got the album. You can't afford to be frank. This is Lars, James, Kirk, and Jason laughing all the way to the bank. Someone who's 10 pounds poorer, but definitely wiser, living in Bolton, Lancs. So that was a letter in Kerrang. And yeah, that's it. Endorsers at the time: Tama, Zildjian, Regal Tip, Remo, ESP, Labella Strings. Wow, I didn't know they were around back then. Mesa Boogie, Ampeg, Ombic, I don't know that, Ernie Ball. So definitely awesome. I think this is such a cool treasure, such a cool keepsake, and I'm glad to have. And that's why I wanted to make this, because I know there's so many of us out there, true Metallica lovers, and that a lot of you guys will get a kick out of seeing this, because I'm sure it's rare, hard to find. I'm guessing maybe they exist on eBay or whatever, but I know not everybody has this thing, and I feel lucky to have it. I'm glad to share it with you. So if you enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up for me. You know, it helps the algorithm, helps pass this along to other Metallica fans to see it too. So I appreciate you. If you're not yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. I plan on pumping out a lot more videos real soon. I don't want you to miss a single one. Again, thanks for watching. Cheers, and hope to see you again on the next one.